walking. Yes, indeed, I'm walking. Oh, yeah, just for me, I'm walking. Thank you for the company. I'm walking, I'm walking, I'm walking, I'm walking. So happy to be walking. Happy to be walking. Thank you for the company. Great Rising! Yes, hey, come on for the walk. Oh, yeah. Jump on your bikes. I know I said walk and I said jump on your bike. Jump on your treadmill. Walk wall to wall. Sitting in a chair, kicking your feet. Get your chair, get your feet. If you're doing weight, get your weights. Thank you for the company. Yes, thank you for subscribing to the channel. And thank you for liking and sharing and commenting. Yes, I was supposed to be making notes. 45 minutes. I don't have any notes. I'm walking, I'm walking, I'm walking, I'm walking. So happy to be walking. Happy to be walking. I don't want to get too carried away. Thank you for the company. Yep. Sorry to do it so abruptly. We don't got no music director. We don't got no music director.
Power on. Bluetooth mode. The Bluetooth device is ready to pair.
Okay, thank you. We're not doing that. We're not pairing. The song does come through the treadmill. Hey, y'all. Hey. Okay. Y'all know what time it is. It's camera just in time. Ooh, child. Ooh, child. Listen. Oh, ooh, ooh, ooh. Too much. I need to get another tripod. I don't know why I don't. Hey, y'all. Hey. Thanks for coming on the walk. Let me give me some more. Hey. Oh. 45 minutes. Remember, y'all, I did say an hour. Then I felt really bad, and I was like, oh. Because people are so quick to call you liars. She lied. How about changing my mind? We have to work up to an hour. But 45 minutes is making up for time. The half hour that I'm not doing on Saturday, though this Saturday, Johanna will be here. We'll be in the garage. That's about it. I grew into the song. I finally put it on the loop on YouTube. We'll just play again and again and again. And it gets me kind of perked up for the walk. You know? I'm walking. Yes, indeed. I still see where it has a little work to go through, but at that time, I'm going to throw some video behind it, but what I'll do is when we go to fall, I'll mix it a little better. But right now, I love it. It gets me excited. It makes me want to walk on camera for the next 6 months to Emancipation Proclamation Eve. And that brings me to something I wanted to tell y'all about. I know. I'll explain my whole cult thing to you. And while I'm going through this now at 64. But I gotta tell you, it's a mess. It's a mess. Um, it all makes sense to me now. I answered a whole lot of questions I couldn't answer. You don't need to see I lost my train of thought, right? And, but I want to stick with cults. That's why I lost my train. As soon as I said cults, I was like, oh my God. I had this whole conversation with myself. See, y'all just hearing it for the first time. Second time for me. And, I just understand so much now. And I'm so happy that I'm leaving with this understanding of life. I used to look at, I'm telling you, and even my daughter knows, people know, the Lifetime was first putting on the girls that was running from the FDLS. And boy, did I root for them. Lifetime, wonderful channel for putting that on. People give money to help those kids, those girls, get out of those cults. And it was wonderful, and I was looking at it. And I'm saying, oh, poor white people. How do white people get themselves into that? That's what I was saying. Poor little white girls. That's what I was saying. Then my daughter started looking at Return to Amish. And I'm looking at that, and I'm like, and I remember, I remember when I did recreation for British Association of Retarded Citizens. That's what it was called. Now it's called ableist. Well, it was called British Association of Retarded Citizens. Then they called it ARC or GARC. Anyway, when I was working for them in the recreation department, we did a trip to Pennsylvania, Amish territory. And when I read through the Call It Tours thing, I thought it would be set up differently. I mean, we had the hotels, we had the restaurant, we had a beautiful trip, the whole bus ride. Everything was wonderful. And then it came the day that we were supposed to go to Amish community, into the Amish community. And I remember being on the bus and literally looking for Amish people. We didn't see no buggies going up and down the road. We didn't see anything. And we're going in and out, and we're going, and the bus driver is saying, I know they're here. I know they're here. And then finally, we saw one, then we saw two, so we had hit the community. And we got out, and of course, you know, we saw the clothing, everything's held together by safety pins. I can't imagine anything more painful than them safety pins getting loose on you. That's how the women, I can't remember about the men. And we bought some food. and stuff from the Amish uh, people. They had like the veggie stands and different stands like that. And I think I bought a book. We went to like a general store. And I was like, wow. So my daughter's looking at this Return to Amish where they do the drum stringer and everybody gets a chance, girls and boys, you get a chance to leave the community and see if you want to make it in the land of the English. That's what we're called, English. And if you want to stay, stay. And if you don't, you come back home. Easy peasy. Easiest of all the cults because it's written in the books. You want to do rum swinger? You do that. Of all the cults, I think that's the easiest one to get out of. Though it's inside you, though it's inside of you, it's still easiest to me. So, we was looking at that, and the girls, you know, everybody gets out and works hard. That's one thing I can say about the Amish. Everyone works hard. And though everyone works hard, and everyone carries their weight, there is still a superiority of men running the Amish community. Not women, not ladies. I really don't think the ladies have any say. Other than your mother telling you what to do as a child, I think outside of the home, and if your dad, you know, if the dad is there, then I don't think she got too much power at all. No, I don't think she got too much. And that's what we saw. And that's Return to Amish. I'm like, oh, poor little cold Amish people. Oh my God, these white people is horrible. And then I knew about the Scientologists. I was 23 years old, living in Manhattan. My daughter was 2. And working with the visiting nurse service in New York, receptionist. Ever since I started working in the hotel while I was in high school and I learned how to do the switchboard, then it was easy getting jobs doing the switchboard. So, see how fast I forget my pen? Because in my head, I'm already in another conversation, and I need to take care of that. So, the whole time, I'm looking at that, and I'm thinking to myself, wow, poor white people. So, I was working at the visiting nurse service. My sister got me a job there. And for some reason, from the time I was carrying my daughter, I started reading romance novels, but not because it's a good author or the contents. No, I would go by the length. The thicker the book, the more I wanted to read it. Now, New York City, you don't look at people. You don't do it. You read a newspaper, you read a book, you know, you little side eye, you look around, but on the subway, you just don't stare at folks because you don't know what psycho you're looking at. So, we would all pass books around the office. And Dianetics, came through. And at the same time, passages came through. And I think your erroneous zone came through. And, because we didn't talk about who sleep with who and this one met at this one, we basically, everybody had read, so we all talked books. So I was like, I can relate to Dianetics, and I was like, L. Ron Hubbard, but I was like, that's okay. I like passages too. There was another one at that time. Can't think of it. So it was just another book we read and we talked about. So later on, when my sister told me that a girl, Linda, her friend from the office, her and her husband were going to Florida, and they are Scientologists. I didn't think of that because Scientologists, is there science to Christianity? I didn't know. I didn't know anything about it other than what I read from Ron L. Hubbard, and it was like really good, helpful, but I don't have a cult mentality. As y'all find out, now I'm finding out all my difficulties is because I didn't have that. I didn't. As hard as I tried, I couldn't blend in with other cults. They didn't like me. So I'm like, wow. She went down to Florida for Scientology, and the kids and stuff, we didn't mention anything else about it. Now, my girlfriend Ethel was part of Christian Science, which is not Scientology. It's, don't start me. That's another cult. So, but that cult came out of Greenwich, a storefront. And thank goodness they kept it a storefront. And I'm not connecting the dots. I'm like, oh, the poor white people in the cults. And then, of course, you have the Jehovah's Witnesses. And I'm going to tell you something. When I was down south, ain't no Jehovah's Witness ever knocked that out door. I can't even tell you if I even met a Jehovah's Witness. Can't even tell you if I met them. But when I came back to New York, no. They was banging on the door when I was living in East New York with my father. And boy, they wish they never bang on that door. That mean Muslim. Anywho, I was like, Jehovah's Witnesses, and they don't celebrate this, and they don't celebrate that, and they don't celebrate this, and they don't. And I'm like, but they're Christians. And I'm like, oh wow. Oh wow, okay. But they celebrate Christ, but that's the only religion, and only like 100,000 of them is gonna be in heaven. And I was like, wow. Didn't connect it to cults. Didn't do the connection. Poor them. Oh, isn't it horrible for them? I felt so sorry for them. I was like, wow, I'm so glad I don't know what they're going through. Oh, how horrible it is. And I would feel it so deep down inside. I could be sitting there looking at it, And I don't call it crying because I would just feel the tear running down my cheek. And I couldn't understand. Again, I'm like, well, I'm empathetic. So I said, I'm empathizing with these people. I'm feeling it. That was not it. Oh, okay, and let's go back to the Hasidics. Like I said, I grew up around Hasidics, East New York. My mother, the lawyer she worked for in New Jersey, they weren't Hasidic, but they were practicing Jews, I guess you call them, like, maybe not. Is it extreme Orthodox Hasidic or just regular Orthodox? I just think they were regular Orthodox. They just celebrated all the Jewish holidays. And that didn't dawn on me. Didn't dawn on me that it was a cult. They were all Jews. Some have, and this is what we call Shirley Temple Curls, and some don't. But they're all Jewish. I knew at that time, when I think back, I knew I never had a Jewish female teacher. But I had male Jewish teachers. That should have taught me something right there. I don't know, I didn't do high school in New York, but even in junior high school, we didn't have Jewish female teachers. We just had men. Oh, almost time for our break, y'all. To have some water and listen to our music. As what's his name, Tyrone says? As Tyrone said, stops on a dime. Hey, let's listen to some music while we wait. While we drink. Yes, indeed. Y'all have water handy. Remember, we're walking for 45 minutes. Thank you for the company. I'm walking. So happy. Lights, the symbol. Happy to be walking. Thank you for the company. Yeah, I laid that track. So surprised was I. Yes, indeed. But not really. I am talented. Thank you for the company. I'm walking. Hey, let's get back to walking. So, it'll take me a year before I start using the handmill. So I'm like, oh, poor, poor Hasidic women. And I'm like, as I get older, so I knew that after I left the Southern Baptist cult and came up here to the north and tapped into these Northern Baptist cult, well, see, the Northern Baptist cult thinks that the Southern Baptist cults is a bunch of stupid hicks. The Southern Baptist cult thinks the Northern Baptist cult is about a bunch of phonies who don't know anything about Jesus. When a Northern church pastor would get him and his folks together and they would come down south to do the rounds of the churches after they preached. Happened every time they came through. I don't even know what he was talking about. I don't even think he didn't know Jesus. And then the visiting pastor, he would always get good tithes. That offering plate would go, give big, give big. The pastor is here visiting, the pastor is here visiting, give big, you know. And you hand over the cash. Sometimes they talk about the last church they left, they gave them this amount and that. And it was so funny because when I started working as a bartender, we used to call what the churches was doing, Colts was doing, round robin. Where every Monday night, all the bar owners in the round robin would either go to a bar and take like $500 and spend it, buying everybody drinks, doing all that stuff. I used to have to go for Irwin because he didn't like going. So he was sitting the bartenders and he got mad because they used to keep the money and they wouldn't spend it at the bar. And then the owner would call back and say, hey man, you didn't, you know, you said girls, they didn't even spend anything. So that's why he was sending me. Because I like buying drinks and handing out money. It was a little hard when the bars had a strip joint and I had to sit there and make it rain. We didn't call it make it rain then. We just threw the money at them. And it was called around robin. And basically that's how it was with the churches. They would round robin. Sometimes, but a lot of times they didn't do it because in a round robin you could lose parishioners, congregants. So they didn't want to do it too much. I tell you. So I was like, oh, the churches used to do round robin. So I'm feeling sorry for all of these people. And even, the Catholic Church. I felt horrible for those women. Anytime you get divorced, you're excommunicated, you're kicked out of the church, God don't love you no more when you don't stick with a husband that abuses you. And I remember as a child, my mother had 2 white friends, Susan and June. Irish and Italian, I think. June was Irish. And she had an Irish husband who stayed drunk, stayed beating her up. And for some reason, when June's husband used to beat her up, she'd call my mother, and my mother would grab me, and we would jump on the bus, and we would go over to Hero's house. And I'd be playing with the kids, and my mother would be talking, drinking coffee with June, smoking cigarettes, and, you know, taking care of her wounds and stuff like that. And then she would put on her sunglasses, and then they would go out. We used to go to the park and stuff. And then the other one, Susan, was Italian. Was Susan Italian? I don't think people Italian have names Susan. But I think this lady was Italian. But she had a better life than the other one. So my mother, we used to meet at City Line. It's where Brooklyn and Queens meet up. It's Italians because that's where the Italians are. So we used to go over there, which is so funny. As a kid, when we went by ourselves, the Italian kids used to chase us, call us names and stuff like that. But when we went through City Line with our parents, we would see those same kids, and they wouldn't do anything. So, so she had to be Italian because she got divorced and she got excommunicated. And I remember her crying. Again, my mother was there. I can't remember how she met these ladies. And I was there with my mother. And I felt so bad. And I didn't know what divorce was. But I know they had done something bad. And they got kicked out of the church, and I felt very sorry for them. And then I started being glad that I wasn't Catholic. Because when you're Catholic, if you do something that, see, let me tell the truth. In the Catholic cult, when you do something to go against the rules and the cult leaders, you pay dearly. Excommunicated, kids can't go to Catholic church, can't take communion, blah, 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 blah. All these can'ts. Family don't look at you the same. Cousins don't look at cousins. I mean, that's how you can tell it's a cult. But I knew I was going to be a Catholic. And then when they used to cross themselves every time they passed a church, and I asked, and they said, if you don't cross yourself when you pass a Catholic church, you're going to hell. So I was really scared. I was like, holy crap. Holy crap. You get that excommunicated where everybody cries and is miserable. Then, oh my God. It's horrible. That's what I thought. It's a cult. But, oh, that's how I feel. Oh, it's so horrible for them. Because I'm thinking they're all church and, oh. Didn't tell you. So, then comes Leah Remini. And her Scientology talk. And I want to tell you something. It wasn't until the third season that I said to myself, well, holy cow, that Southern Baptist stuff was a cult too. That was a cult. All the churches. And nobody all together had the same God. Though they had the Southern Baptist Conference thing with the big head. I remember when I was in Mount Vernon. And Reverend Franklin Stevenson or Stevenson, Franklin, Robinson. I know the Reverend had a lot of names, a lot of strong names. Like Benedict, Washington, Lincoln Lee. Like powerful, strong names. And every year he would get turned away from being the head cult leader of the Baptist blah 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 convention. Oh, y'all gotta wait a minute. Something happened with my sneaker. It's loose, y'all. Oh, here we go. Sorry about that. I don't know how that came loose. It started feeling like the sneaker was gonna go on without me. I think next time I'll get me some Velcro. Ooh, when I was doing that, was my butt all up in the thing? I have to make sure. Too late now, but I'll be looking to edit it. So I was like, wow. So Leah Remini comes on, and she's talking about Scientology and different things. I'm like, oh, poor little Scientologist. I remember reading Dianetics or whatever, and L. Ron Hubbard and L. Ron Hubbard. You know? And I'm like, okay, so I go the whole season. I'm crying. Poor little Scientologist. I'm so remember to get up. It is so. Then the second season come on. And this time she added other groups to it. And I'm saying, oh my goodness. They're all connected. They're all cults. Like, whoa. Get out of here. They're all cults. Not me. And you get into the incest. You get into the molestation of young girls. You get into women being just used to take care of men, and especially FDLS, to please men, to have the baby. And by that third season, I was crying. I was crying, and I was like, holy cow. I was just as miserable. I felt you couldn't do anything but go to church. You couldn't do anything but go to church. And no matter how long you go to church, you'll never know the Bible. Because only cult leaders know Bibles. So you can sit in that pew until you ashes. And you still will not know the Bible because only cult leaders know. You can quote verses till your ass fall off. The only people who know how to interpret the Bible are the cult leaders. 20 years, you can read that Bible inside out. Take it, stick it in your ears, chew it up, swallow it, shit it out. Read it again 20 times a day, and any cult you go to, they will tell you you don't know it. Because only cult leaders know how to interpret the Bible. Now, I remember my cousin, I think it was Reggie. He was always the funny one, but the biggest abuser and the biggest incestist ever. They say he's some kind of reverend down there, but I said, don't leave your child around him. Yeah, because he's a big one. But he's a man, and he's allowed to do that in cults. He's allowed to do it. You have to be submission, so whether it is your man or any other man. That's what it means. So I was like, so when Leah really was talking about that and the other cults, I was like, wait a minute here now. I often wondered why these freed men in church, and you walk by them, and they're so easy for them to reach out and touch you like they got a right. And Who gave them that right? And then the insults when Leah Remini was talking about the cults and stuff, and they said the incest. Out of control. And I was like, I was in a cult. Then they don't believe in medication. I was in a cult. They don't believe in counseling or psychiatric care. I was in a cult because my grandmother said all the time, ain't nothing wrong with you but the devil inside you. If you were sick, she would tell you, it's just the devil in you. If you wasn't so evil, we were all evil. If you weren't so evil, you'd be fine. So I was like, I was in a cult. Women, I couldn't understand. Oh, so I was saying to my cousin who used to joke. And he used to say, look, Grammy, Jesus told me I didn't have to do that. And my grandmother said, boy, stop your foolishness. Jesus ain't tell you nothing. And he said, yeah, he came and spoke to me and told me. And my grandmother said, boy, you crazy. If Jesus came to talk to you, you crazy. And he said, well, they come to everybody else, come to the pastor. Why can't Jesus come and speak to me? And my grandmother said, because you're full of the devil and you're evil. And you're a sinner. So he wouldn't come to you. So then with my oldest cousin, that they let run through the family like a venereal disease, when he went off to the Vietnam War and he got crazy, he was running around Central Park saying that he was Jesus. Now I don't understand what the problem with the matter is, but they had him locked up. And I was like, in that cult, they let him run through that cult to do anything he wanted to do with anyone. And he was considered a good boy. A good boy. Yep. A good boy. When he would be doing at least 30 counts of rape, 30 counts of abuse. The only reason why he ain't put his hands on me because my father was still alive. But the way he was around there bobbing his sisters and carrying on, child, he'd have still been in jail and he'd had to sign up to be on a sex offenders registry. But he was in a cult that encouraged. This is how they used to say when my cousin Ricky, the incestuous one, ain't let no girl in the family keep their virginity. This is how the family used to speak to him. Oh, Ricky! Oh, Ricky's just so good. Ricky's just so great. Ricky is just so wonderful. Ricky is just so smart. I'm telling you, I kid you not. I thought I was looking for Ricky to start walking on water, honey. But when Ricky got out of the cult and got into the service, they didn't kiss his ass like that. They didn't think he was the best thing of best things. And the found out that Ricky was all the rave is because when he went to church, all the ladies liked him. So he basically helped populate the church so they all could see Ricky or date Ricky. And I want to say, y'all need to run away from him, honey, because he is bad news from start to damn finish. But when he was at church, he could stand up and read the scripture. He would just smile. I mean, he was very handsome. Very handsome. And he could just smile, and he knew it. And he would smile. Sometimes he would wink at him, and they'd be, oh, Ricky, oh. All aunts. Oh, Ricky, oh, Ricky. And I used to say, that nigga need to be in jail. Excuse my French, y'all. I said the A. Anyway. When he went to the service, no one said, Ricky. They said, listen here, playboy. This is the military. You gotta work here. You ain't pretty boy Ricky. That's when you used to do it. When Martin came out with that line that said Pretty Ricky was his name. I think it was something to do with his high school reunion. Pretty Ricky was his name. That thing hit me so hard. I was like, Pretty Ricky. My cousin, he was Pretty Ricky. Pretty Ricky got all the women's. All the women's. Pretty Ricky got everybody, y'all. Whew. Let's do 5. I ran out of time. Tuck in your elbow. Let's do it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I know I said 5, but my hand wouldn't stop. Okay, we're doing 10. Even it out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And 1 for good luck. Hold on, y'all. Hold on. So happy to be walking. Happy to be walking. Thank you for the company. I gotta stop before I fall. Thanks for coming on the walk, y'all. Please like, comment, share. Tell a friend, tell a friend. I'm just moving, I'm walking. Thank you for the company. I'm walking. Please like, comment, share, tell a friend, tell a friend. Happy to be walking. Thank you for the company. Yeah, yo, yeah. Woo, we did it. We did it. Yes, indeed. I'm walking. Just moving. I'm walking. Thank you for the company. Please like, comment, share, tell a friend, tell an uncle, tell an auntie, tell an auntie, tell everybody T. Thanks for coming for the walk. I'll see you tomorrow. Have a wonderful day. Thank you for the company.